Welcome to ADHD Friendly. I'm Patty. I am an ADHD coach and the creator of the ADHD-Friendly membership. I invite you to check it out, ADHD-Friendly.com, if you need a little boost in supporting yourself with ADHD. There's also lots of resources on my website. So ADHD-Friendly.com, a good place to begin. All right, this is episode 154.
Woo, woo.
We're going to be talking about fall organization today.
Oh, that's
I know.
sparkly.
It's one of my favorite things. Oh, I forgot to say my little tagline. I have Post-its everywhere. Things are designed to support my brain. Nice. Okay. My everyday goal is to struggle less, thrive more. And that's what ADHD Friendly is all about. If that resonates for you, going back to what I shared, ADHDfriendly.com, check it out. Okay. So in this episode 154, I'm going to start as always with a celebration around what I've been working on, my POM course book, everything personal owner's manual. Yes. I have been deeply immersed for months. So I've got a celebration around that. Then I'm going to update what I purchased this week. I purchased not like a lot, but like a lot compared to I've had kind of like a buying drought or fast, or I know there's lots of like trendy terms for that right now, where I really wasn't buying anything. So I did comparatively buy a lot, but it's still not a lot compared to what it could be. But I do have some things to update. And then I've got a tool for this week that I found in an article that it was a term I've never heard before. It's not an official term and it's not officially designated with ADHD, but it was interesting. So I'm going to share it. And it's, are you a tosser?
All right.
I know. It means something completely different maybe than what that sounded like. I'm cracking up. She's like, Patty, am I gonna have to flag this episode when I edit? Is this gonna be, are you going in a different direction than you normally go? Is this family friendly still? All right. And then our main topic is some tips for organizing clothes decor for the fall.
I need some tips.
I love fall. I know. I just need to get into this fall feeling. Full disclosure, guys, I'm in Chicago. We are fully in October. I cannot remember if this comes out. We're always 2 weeks ahead. Or no, I'm sorry, we're fully into September. Look, my mind is already in October. This comes out October 2nd. It is not feeling like the middle of September.
No.
Middle towards end of September when we're recording this. It is full on mid to high 80s for the next multiple days running. Haven't had rain in 2 weeks?
At least the grass is dying.
It's just so not fall-like. And I was saying I got dressed this morning and I'm so irritated. I am still wearing short sleeves. Everything in me is looking for when this airs on October 2nd, that in real time, I will be wearing a long sleeve something, maybe a flannel, maybe a sweater. Bring it on. Yeah. So ready for it. Okay. I'll be celebrating that when that happens. All right. So quick update. Welcome new subscribers. If there's new subscribers, disclosure again, I don't know if there's new subscribers anymore. This is what happens. I know so little about the whole social media pot. Like, guys, I do this. I share things because I want to get information out there that can help other people to stop struggling and start thriving. But I don't know a lot and I don't want to know a lot. I just do this because I'm pulled to do it, not because I'm into the numbers per se. Yeah. So apparently it stops counting by the per subscriber when you go over 1,000. It's only going to update, I believe, every 100. So I do notice like people will have like 1.1 or, 97.6 or like whatever. So yeah, when there's a flip, I'll let you know.
Right.
When there's a toss, say if we're still going to celebrate it. I welcome you if you're new. I can't acknowledge the specific number because I can't see it anymore.
We're hoping
maybe there's a way to see it. And I just don't know what I don't know. With my not knowing what I don't know, I have to be honest. There's sometimes where I just lean into that, and this is definitely one of them. But I didn't want you to not feel celebrated and welcomed, and I'm so excited that you are here at ADHD Friendly. All right, so on to my celebration beyond subscribers. And that is, I am 90%, I'm going to call it 90. In retrospect, after making my list for my graphic designer, I probably should update that to I'm 85% done. Let's call it 85. 85% done with my manual to write your personal owner's manual. I don't know if I want to call it a book, a manual, a workbook. I'm not quite sure yet.
It looks
But
so
I made a little, this
pretty.
is a mock-up of the cover. It's not what the cover is actually going to be.
Yeah.
I sent in my graphic designer. I'm like, this is just my visual concept of it. Keep in
Right.
mind, I need you to make it good. I have a working title for it. I'm calling it Create an ADHD-Friendly Personal Owner's Manual, the roadmap to thriving with your brain. 27 new and or updated tools included, 7 chapters. All these tabs are things I still need to do. I need to change. They're visual reminders of what I'm working on, but every
Amazing.
tool is done. It's just minimally being tweaked, either a color or changing out a word that I reread and I was like, I think this sounds better. So minimal tweaks. And then I just have to do the writing part, which is why I backed it to 85%.
Yes.
I have to finish the cover. I have to write the different section summaries, an introduction, share resources at the end. And I'm debating a back cover. I'm not quite sure if I want a back cover or not, but
Amazing.
85%. I'm super excited, guys. This is, I
So
cannot
much
even say how many
work.
hours of
Yeah.
work this has taken. If I knew before I started what was going to be involved, I would have quit before I started. And not because I don't, it's just, I'm shocked at how much time the creative process has taken, but I have really enjoyed it. I'm very excited about it. So I'm
And
looking
see,
forward to
it's like
celebrating.
almost
Yeah,
done.
this will be done and available for purchase before the end of 2024.
That's very exciting.
Hopefully in time for, Thanksgiving, if all
Yeah.
goes well. So
Yeah.
that wasn't a disrespectful toss. I tossed it. It's the theme of today. All right. So now for what I purchased. Okay.
What did we purchase?
I
this
purchased a
week?
few things. So I was sharing with you a minute ago.
Yeah.
I was going to get a dog bowl and a mat, a water bowl and a mat, because my German Shepherd is a little messy in her drinking, gets water everywhere, and it's constantly getting under the mat and making my tile damp, and I don't realize it's damp and it's not good for the tile.
Yeah.
So I wanted one from LL Bean that is made for this and will not let the water go through. And I wanted a bowl that was more substantial that LL Bean also had that would not be able to be flipped over. She tends to like flip them. It just makes a mess. And that was about $100 that I was going to get, because I kept thinking big picture, long term, it's far less expensive than if she actually damages the tile and it becomes an issue. But I was shopping with one of my kiddos and was in TJ Maxx.
Gotta love TJ Maxx.
Discount broker galore.
Yes.
And found a double water bowl.
Oh,
with the bowls included,
yeah.
and a mat. It's just a whole rubber mat, but it has a lip around it so that if any water goes in, it holds it instead of letting it run off.
Oh.
And then I can just kind of blot it up because I have to say I'm shocked at how much water this mat is already holding.
Ooh.
So the bowl stand, and it's a stand because I wanted it to be up a little bit higher, because I feel like she's partly doing it because she has to lean down.
Yeah.
That was $25, and the rubber mat that goes underneath, and it's wide enough for the 2 bowl stand and to have like 4 inches of a lip around it to catch any water that comes off of it, was $10. So I'm like, $35 compared to $100 it would have been at LL Bean.
Oh my gosh.
I was super excited about that.
It's a good deal.
So that I know again is a want technically, because I did have water bowls that were holding water, but I feel like it was a need.
I think it was a necessity.
Because it was really something that was not sustainable the way that it was. I also purchased some pill sorters because, as I shared, I'm doing an episode in a couple of weeks. We'll be out on a medicine cabinet tune-up. So I've been doing that almost every year. I think I've done 2 of them so far.
Our first episode.
Yeah, I don't think I did one last year. I'm not sure if I did one. If I've done it every year, that'd be exciting. But something in my brain tells me I've only done 2.
Yeah.
And this would be the third out of 4. But it is time. I think because I didn't do one last year, I feel like it's time to revisit it. So I ordered a few new pill sorters and organizers, and I'm trying them out so I can kind of share what I noticed and whether or not I liked it. Exactly. And then I also bought, so I've shared how I'm doing my own nails.
Yes.
Or and because I did have them done before my trip over the summer, they're a little weaker because I peeled the gel off myself, because I just have no patience to go and have them done if I'm not having my nails done.
Get it off.
Yeah. Well, I broke my thumbnail like halfway down, so I ordered a nail repair kit. Again, I kind of feel like that's necessary. Oh, it's going to be painful. It's like halfway down the bed of my
And you
nail.
like snag it on
Yeah,
something?
yeah. So I ordered a nail. I'm hoping that's gonna. I was looking for the thing I used to do when I was a nail tech back in the day. I shared like my ADHD professional employment history. And then I just got some hair bands for my daughter because she's growing her very, very curly hair
Yes.
out, and she needs some things to corral it.
She's
And
got some curls.
she's got some definite curls.
Yeah.
And they're just so cute. They're as they're growing out, but she needs a couple of things to
It was
keep
short,
up with
so
it.
now it's long enough.
Exactly. It's just long enough with a few clips to hold it back.
Cute.
And then I ordered very spontaneously, but I do not regret it 24 hours later, during a client session yesterday, a book that I thoroughly enjoyed that had to do with something that they were celebrating. I made a note to send it to them because I knew that they would enjoy it based on what they shared. So I bought a client book and sent that out, and they should be receiving it today, which is very exciting because I do think they're going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's everything I purchased. And I feel like overall, yeah, it was a lot more than I've been purchasing, but they were all, except for the dog water bowl stand, that was $25. They were all under $15 each. But again, they do add up. I have not added, probably do need to add up. Like, okay, it sounds like they're all like, $8 to $15, but if you get 8 things that are $8 to $15, like they do add up. But I don't regret any of the things I purchased. And that's partly what I'm trying to notice is what am I doing? So I'm getting better, I think, at the impulse thing.
So
a lot of it is just keeping myself out of the environment where I tend to be impulsive with my spending. Yeah. Like if like my kid's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you want to come?" I'm like, I don't. I don't. Well, because I know if I go, I'll be spending, or I'll leave my wallet at home and just bring my ID. So I have no way to buy anything. I'm like, yeah, I'll come walk around.
I'm window shopping today.
Right, but I have to have a way to control the window shopping because I will inevitably see something in the clearance or in the oh my gosh, get the fall decor, and I'm like, I must. No, I know. I don't must. It just feels like I must.
It feels like it.
Yeah. Okay. On for the tip for this week. Are you a tosser? So this is from the Huffing. Of course, that title I was like, and it was related to ADHD.
Yes.
It was a HuffPost.
Okay.
It used to be Huffington. Now it's just HuffPost.
Yeah.
HuffPost article. Here's what they define as a tosser. When faced with overwhelming piles of papers, clothes, receipts, etc., you throw it all away and hope there's nothing important in there. So you're just tossing it all instead of making decisions and dealing with it.
Anxious.
Yep. It's just I don't know. I can't think of anything in here that's important. I don't want to have to look at it and make decisions, so I just toss the whole thing. So I know, like in my experience, in where I live now and where I've lived in the past, where bulk trash is collected, sometimes it's once a month, sometimes it's once a week, depending on where you live. If you even have the service, but I've had it a couple of places I've lived. And on the day that bulk trash is set out, there are what I call like vultures, like scavengers that drive around scanning because people throw some serious stuff out. Like it's shocking sometimes what is being tossed to the curb. Yeah. I literally found, I have found furniture that was tossed out. I have found, and usually I'm not in a position to like grab it. And by the time like I've actually gone back to drive around and it's gone because like I'll see it on my walks. I'm like, are you literally throwing that away? And I can't get back fast enough to get it. Some decent toys I've seen thrown out. It's just, they're just done with it. They don't have the they're like, I'm not going to get to the donation center. I don't want to sell it. I don't know anybody that wants it. And honestly, because so many people do get things picked up, I've done this myself where I'll put furniture out and I want it gone. So I'll put it out like if our boat pickup is Monday, I'll put it out if it's not going to rain, like early on Sunday. So that there's a chance for it to be seen and picked up. So it's not even sitting there overnight, where hopefully it won't get damaged if it's like wood furniture or something. I've done that where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to set it out, and it is always picked up and gone. I put out a hutch to the top of my daughter's desk. So I'm like, it's just a single piece, not with the desk, because she wanted the desk. She did not want the hutch top because it was encroaching on how much space she had to write
on her desk.
And so we put it out. It was gone. I'm like, what are you going to do with that? It doesn't match. But again, I don't know what I don't know. People are much more creative when it comes. They'll sand it down. My husband debated keeping it because he's a woodworker, and he was like, because it was solid wood. So I'm like, it has value. It just didn't have value for me, and I didn't have the bandwidth to figure it out. But I knew that it would be picked up, and it was.
Love that.
I actually once found a working, fully functional video camera back when video cameras were a thing before you could video on your phone. And I was just like, is this for real?
Yeah.
Like it came with the bag and
And
everything. And I was just like, okay. So you just never know.
You don't.
But things can be tossed out sometimes that you don't even realize what you've thrown away.
Yep.
And I know I've heard this, at like donation centers where they'll find lots of money tucked into a book or into, a suitcase
An
liner
old,
or
yeah,
yeah.
sweater.
Or in a box of things. There just happens to be an envelope of cash or something.
Right.
So tossing comes back to executive functions.
Ooh.
And this is what I want to underline when it relates to ADHD, keeping in mind, we struggle to initiate a task. So if you're looking at a box that's filled with paper, if this doesn't resonate with you, there are other podcasts. I don't know anybody with ADHD that doesn't have an experience with throwing piles of papers into a box. And I'll go through that another time. I'll go through that someday.
Yeah.
I'll go through that when I have more energy, more
In a
focus,
drawer.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah. There's somewhere that it is so full of stuff that I thought of going back into that. So that task initiation of, I just need to go back in there and do that.
You're not gonna do it.
Prioritizing. What do I need to keep? What do I need? Like, what can I get rid of?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Time management. How much time is this going to take to do?
Ooh, yeah.
Sustaining your focus. Like, am I going to start and then I'm going to have papers everywhere and I'm going to lose my steam and then I'm going to have to just put them like, why even start? You know what? I
Yeah.
don't even have the energy. I don't know when I'm going to have that kind of energy. So we don't do anything with it. Planning for, do I need files? Do I need to make, whatever it is to what am I going to do once I sort it all? What if I come across, like, it's the fear. What if I come across something that I remember once I felt so bad. I went through my kids' pile of things when we were moving at some point. I found a check for $100
Oh, that's
for one of my kids from their grandparent. And all I kept thinking was,
like
number one,
this?
they sent it and they never got it. Like,
Yeah.
we never cashed it.
Right.
Number two, we never sent a thank you card because we never did anything with it.
Didn't know it was there.
Number three, we can't do anything with it because it's been too long. So I felt badly that we had all this money that I couldn't even use for my kids.
At Seinfeld episode, grandma.
Exactly. Well, you can't go cash something when it's been a year since it was mailed. But it was this whole so we can have discomfort at the idea of going through whatever it is because we don't know what we're going to find. So that uncertainty creates anxiety, but it also creates that need to hold on to it just in case.
Then you're becoming a hoarder.
There's some warning flags. And then decision fatigue, right? If you know every single thing you touch and go through is going to require multiple decisions. It might even be a goes, stays, goes. It could be okay, let me look at this pile of clothes and decide, are there any stains? Is the stain treatable? Is it needing a repair? Is the repair doable? Does it need a new button, a new zipper? Do I have, where would I take it to get it fixed? Is it worth fixing? How much will it cost to fix?
At the cleaners.
All of these things. I remember I tried to get something hemmed and it was more than I remember it was a prom dress for my daughter. It was more almost than I paid for the dress to get it taken up an inch.
It's crazy.
And I was like, are you kidding me? Or actually it's like 2 or 3 inches, but still.
Yeah, no, it
was a hem. So all of these executive function challenges lead to just tossing, right? So we will toss in a box for later and then potentially, or into a plastic bag or into a bin, whatever it is, but eventually that entire thing can get tossed in the trash or into the donation bin. And it's almost this feeling of, well, I haven't needed whatever's in there since whenever I put it in there. So I'm just going to toss it and hope
for the best
that there's nothing in there I need, because we can't face going through it again. And it has a reward in that it feels so good that we've made a decision and it's gone.
Yeah.
So we need to acknowledge that it can feel so good to toss because it's gone, it's done, but it may not serve us if there was something in there. So keeping in mind what what would serve you when it comes to the items that you are having a hard time going through that you might default to tossing. I think of this even digitally, like when my computer restarts, I've told you this, I tend to keep so many tabs on my computer that my computer struggles to run. It's just like, I'm like, what's this thing? And then I realized I have 103 windows already open, and it's just kind of like, oh, like just trying. And so if it restarts, it's like, gosh, I don't even know what those tabs were anymore. And like, I can't make the decision to close them on my own, but when they're gone and I didn't have to decide, it does feel very free. But I literally have no idea what it was that I had left open as a reminder to me to do something with that page or that, resource or something. Yeah. So we will avoid the overwhelm that comes from facing those decisions, but it's a Band-Aid. And this is what the article says that I wanted to share. Oliver Drakeford, who is a psychotherapist, said it's a Band-Aid. It doesn't help develop distress tolerance or a healthier ADHD management skill. Yeah. So we're kind of avoiding the whole thing. Okay, so here are some quick tips. Try the 10 things game. Ooh. So cut the whole box into just going through the first 10 things. Open 10 bills, go through 10 pieces of paper, look at 10 items of clothes, whatever it is. If your kitchen is a bomb and it's just you do the whole, or not, you can't toss the kitchen, but you could clean 10 dishes instead of like, I'm going to clean from top to bottom and get everything back to, kind of like day I moved in here kind of clean. Maybe just open 10 emails. If you've got like 1,000 sitting in your inbox and you're overwhelmed, don't toss them all. Just open 10 and start, just still go until you can delete 10 of them and then come back to it the next day. Yeah. Or another strategy is try the 2-minute rule, set a 2-minute timer and just do it now. Or if something takes less than 2 minutes. So like there's a couple of dishes in the sink and it will take you 30 seconds to put them in the dishwasher, put them in the dishwasher, move on with your day. And the third tip is to be kind to yourself. And this is from author Kate Osborne. She says, our brains literally process information differently. To the ADHD brain, it is a series of hundreds of much smaller tasks, all of which are taking energy to process. So do what works for you. Something is more than nothing. Take and hold on to what you notice is sparkly and pulling you forward, and leave the rest behind. So I just wanted to share a little bit on that concept of tossing, because I've never heard that term, but it so perfectly encapsulates in one word what a lot of us with ADHD will do in the moment that may not support us in the long run. Okay. On to a couple of tips for fall organization, which is I know that was like a big long tip, but this is just a little bit of information on fall is here.
Fall is here.
Weather will shortly be following thereafter if it's already where you are.
Good for you.
Enjoy it. If you love the summer, this is for you. I mean, that's what I keep trying to think of. It's for some people, this is really, they are loving every minute of this.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to be happy for them. So for me, fall weather creates energy. I have a lot of clients who, it's the opposite. The end of summer is almost like a mourning period. Like fall is like the beginning of, darker weather and colder weather, more inside, less outside inviting activities. That is very sparkly to me.
Yeah.
Not so sparkly if you really love summer and warm. So I find it easier to get started on things I'm usually avoiding in the fall. If that's true for you, yay. we are fall
people,
fall connected people. But if that isn't true for you, I have some strategies that can help create a little interest, a little sparkle, so that you're feeling more pulled into what you're trying to do instead of feeling like you have to push yourself into it. Pushing doesn't work. Pull is always better than push. All right. So number one, maybe just, and here's the thing again, always want to plant the seed. Something is more than nothing. We can't do everything, but we can do one thing. Of all the things I share, if you're feeling like there's a lot of sparkle to them, pick one thing. Don't try to do everything. You can always do something else if you choose to, but give yourself permission to allow yourself to hold on to one thing if that's what works for you. So the first tip is to weed your summer wardrobe before you put it away. I have a hard time with this, and I know a lot of people with ADHD do. So I wanted to give you a little bit of structure to help make those decisions. So we're not tossing those things into the summer bin and leaving it to our future self to deal with. When we pull them back out again, it's like, why do I keep moving these shorts? I haven't worn them in 3 years. Right. So before shoving those summer clothes in boxes and bags and bins, to make room for the clothes you need for the cooler
Yeah.
weather ahead,
Fall and winter.
ask yourself, what were the things you wore the most? So you're kind of starting by pulling the things that you found yourself wearing over and over as your favorites.
Yeah.
Those are definitely going back into your bin.
Yeah.
What didn't get worn? So maybe you have a pile of things that you didn't wear one time this summer. The next thing is, did you wear it last year? So like, has this not been worn in a full like 2 summer cycle?
Yeah.
Even if it's only been like 14 months total, it might be like,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't worn it in a little over a year. If it has not been worn in 2 summer seasons, that might be a really good indicator that it's not going to be worn. Or maybe it's just the one like nice summer dress that you feel really good in when you wear it, but you haven't had an occasion.
Right. Like for
Okay.
an event or something.
Right, sure. But if it's like you have 5 pairs of shorts that didn't get worn and haven't been worn in more than 2 or in the past year or in the past 2 summers,
Make money.
well, maybe they're not the style anymore, or maybe they're
That's true.
like ready to be donated because they don't fit you, but they're not really sellable, or or they're like, because I don't know for sure. You sell a lot more things than
yes.
I ever have. But I know like for resale, often they're more trendier, like things that are newer. So like if you have like shorts that are like 10 years old and you haven't worn them in 2 years, would they still sell?
Surprisingly, yes, because all those vintage, they're considered vintage. So a lot of those pieces, even if they're 5, 10 years old, somebody think about if they love an article of clothing and they can't find it anymore, they're going to be hitting those sites or resale shops looking for that specific piece of clothing.
Interesting.
So that's how you can actually sell a lot online.
Well, there is that tip from Becca. I personally have 0 interest in selling like used clothing because I can't. The amount of decisions I'd have to make about getting a listing on there, taking pictures of it, posting it, getting it into the mail, shipping it. You guys know shipping's not my thing. That doesn't interest me at all. But there's a tip if that's sparkly for you. And then what doesn't fit anymore, or is just not your style anymore, right? So decide what's worthy of being put into your bin to hold on to for next summer, and what do you want to let go of, so that when you take out your clothes for next summer, they're the clothes that either you would wear again if the opportunity presented itself, or you just love them. They're your go-to favorites for summer. And maybe even start a list of, okay, wow, if I get rid of these, I'm going to need more t-shirts, or I'm going to need more short sleeve button downs, or whatever it is. I'm going to need more shorts if I get rid of these shorts, so that you have a plan for even maybe shopping before they're all off the shelves, going and getting the clearance items at the best prices right now.
That makes you think of your like a capsule wardrobe if you're getting rid of one thing and then you can get another thing put in.
Exactly. So, kind of doing it, I'm very mindful of making it visual. So doing it in a very visible way, so you can see exactly what you have, make those decisions before you put it away. And then you're creating space to support not only your future self, your current self, but your future self. So you have space to bring out the warmer clothes, but you also, when you get your things out next season, it's only the things that you decided you really want to hold on to. All right. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, do a mini decluttering. So maybe just one drawer, not the drawer that's full of all those papers.
No,
if that's too much. Maybe I just reorganized my spice drawer a couple of weeks ago. No, not my spice drawer. I'm sorry. My cooking utensil drawer.
Yeah. Oh, that can get.
Oh my gosh. Every time I opened it, it was getting hung up on tongs. I had like 4 tongs. I don't know why in there. And they kept opening and getting caught on the drawer, and it was driving me crazy. And it took me, I'm not kidding, like 5 minutes
Just
about 2 weeks ago, and it's still relatively neat.
Love it.
Every time I open it, I'm like,
look at that.
It is the gift that keeps on giving. One drawer, one cabinet, one shelf, mini decluttering. Do one small thing that could use a little tidy. We're not, taking every single thing out, wiping it down, unless you have the time for that. Just a quick little tidy, get it organized, a little decluttered, so that one thing is more than nothing. You're just getting a little bit done, get a little energy from it, a little sense of that accomplishment that comes from it. All right, this next tip is from Real Simple. I love this. Reset your nightstand for the fall.
Ooh, that is sparkly.
Right? So if you have a nightstand, remove everything from it. These are their tips. That's step number 1. Step number 2, clean it. Wipe it down from top to bottom. Get all that dust and anything, on it that doesn't belong there.
Water bottles.
Clean it off. Use organizers to keep it tidy. So depending on what your nightstand is, it's just a table and there's nothing else. You don't need maybe a top organizer to hold, you know, pens or your journal or whatever. But if you have drawers, if you have a cabinet, consider like what would help you to keep that a little more tidy more easily. And then stock everything you want to make it cozy for yourself. So they recommended little things like lotion or your phone chargers. I wrote down your like a book you want to read for the fall, your journal, some pens,
Lip balm.
lip balm is on my list. Yeah.
Like
tissues.
Oh,
I have to have tissues on my nightstand, right?
Same here.
Make it sparkle. I have a little coaster. So I even thought like what about like changing my coaster out? Make it
like
make
a
it
fall.
maybe a little candle if it's safe to burn a candle. Or aromatherapy little thing.
Diffuser.
There you go.
That's lovely.
And then the last tip is to add some fall sparkle to your home. Yeah. So whether it's decor, like some fall leaves, a wreath, maybe a few throw pillows. I saw pumpkins at Costco this weekend. Not there because it'll rot.
Yeah, they had some cute fake
they were
ones
giant
at
though. They were $6.99. They were giant. I know.
Big. I just saw fake ones at Michael's, but they had all their clearance stuff.
Ooh. I love Michael's. Maybe you're going to get some flavors, I have to say, and it is no joke. Everything is pumpkin spice right now. It is comical. I think there's even pumpkin spice Oreos. Like, I mean, like, it's insane how many pumpkin spice things there are. I find it a little annoying, to be honest, but
for pumpkin,
I am too, but come on. But also Costco does have their pumpkin pies out again. $5.99 again, stinking huge pumpkin pie. I don't know how they do that. That's like that's the equivalent of their $1.50 hot dog and a soda. $5.99 for a pie that I don't care if you had a dinner party for 12, it would be enough for everybody to have a piece and there'd still be a bit left over. It's insane how big that pie is. And then also scents, right? So like maybe just a little cinnamon or pumpkin scent if you know you don't love the cinnamon's bothered me in my middle life.
It's a strong scent.
I can only take it. It's certain things that I can't chew cinnamon gum anymore. Like there's a couple of things that the cinnamon really bothers me, which is interesting. Mints,
like all
no, I can't. No, but I can have it like in bread, but like lightly. It can't be like a strong
oatmeal.
A little bit, but it's almost like it can't be like an artificial. I think it has to be real. Might be the difference. But anyway, I digress. But do what works for you. Find a little cinnamon spark or a little, I'm sorry, fall sparkle.
Maybe apple. Apple's kind of fall. Fall-like.
Yeah, no, I could put cinnamon in my apple sauce.
Oh,
yes,
love
that does work. That's what I mean. I think it's the artificial flavor.
Yeah, I think you need the real stuff.
Yeah, I need the real. Give me the real stuff. Okay, now for fall decor, the last tip. If you're like me and you put things in bins, I like clear bins when I can.
Yes.
But I love a colored bin to immediately see what that item might be inside. So
what season?
Exactly. So for Christmas, I have red and green bins. Even if they're clear, they have a red or a green top that clasp on top. They are always Christmas. For Halloween and fall, they're orange. So I now have orange bins or look for like the clear, if I can find a clear with the orange top, which I haven't found yet, but that is one thing I want. So I don't have to open because my bins are stacked, you know, all these bins or read the sides if it has a label on it. I just know from the color. It's the simplest, easiest way for me to quickly grab what I want. And I can even send somebody else downstairs. I'm like, can you bring me up the orange bins? Yeah. I only have 2 fall bins, but I know what's in them. I also like to take a picture of fall decorations if I get things where I like them. Cute. And then I can go and pull it up. Like this year, when I get my fall decor out, I can look at and see what I did last year to see if I want to recreate it exactly what I did so I can recreate it.
Your peanuts and
exactly makes it easier to set up the following year. So that's it for fall organizing and decor tips. Just sparkle to get you started. Again, if there's a lot in there that's sparkly to you, as there is to me, pick one thing and begin and allow yourself to create a little energy by getting some things checked off in ways that work for you. All right, on to the book for this week. It is a new book. It is called James by Percival Everett. This apparently is being made into a major motion picture. It just came out and it is retelling of the Tales of Huckleberry Finn,
Very
but
cool.
through Jim, the slave's viewpoint.
Very
So
interesting.
I did not remember all of the details of the Huckleberry Finn
right.
tale. So if you read this and you understand it's a retelling from Jim's perspective, you may know exactly what happens and how it turns out.
Yeah.
This whole story was pretty much new to me because I haven't been connected to the Tales of Huckleberry Finn since I was, I think, 5 or 6, and my sister made me do a play with her in the front yard that she produced. And it was Tom, Jim, Huckleberry Finn, and me. I was in me because there was too many people and I had to jump in at the end and go, hey. Yeah, Chris, thanks. I still remember that. So I don't remember all of the details. I did remember there being a river, and there definitely is a river.
Or like a boat they get on.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And so it was really interesting. I don't want to, I'm always cautious. I don't want to like give away, but if that interests you, the idea of it being told from Jim's perspective and the insights that you're able to gain from what he sees and what he experiences from his lens is really, even though I didn't remember the original story hardly at all, it's fascinating to kind of go through that journey from his perspective. And I did really enjoy it. I recommend it. And I'm looking forward to the movie because it's going to be fun to, yeah, I love to see movies after I read the book.
Yeah.
So that also pulled me right in when I realized it was already being made into a motion picture and Spielberg was attached. I'm like, oh, well, then this is going to be good. I gotta read this. So that's the book for the week. Oh, I forgot my quote. Here's the quote of the week. This is a fall quote, of course, from Albert Camus. I don't know who Albert Camus is, but giving you full credit, guy. Autumn is a second spring when every leaf is a flower. For I know Albert was quoting somebody else that said that originally, but Albert, you get the credit because that's where I found it online with you attached to it. So that's it for this episode 154. As always, take what works for you, leave the rest behind. Until next time, tally ho.